Hey, David Wood here, and welcome to My Extra Mile. You're going to love the show today. One of these ladies is earning almost $2 million a year in her online business, and they're going to share, these two best friends are going to share how they're doing this together, supporting each other, holding each other accountable, and helping grow each other in the most elegant and beautiful ways. So enjoy the show with the incredible Kylie Donaldson and Emma Vanderwall. So Kylie, Emma, I am beyond excited. There you are sitting on the other side of the world. And I thought this would be fun. You know, when I look at you two, like best mates, complementing each other, yet completely radically different styles. So what we're going to do is we're going to start where you're at today, and then we're going to go backwards in time and figure out how you got here. So first of all, Emma, describe Kylie's style and strengths. What is it that you see? What do you lean on? What do you utilize? How do you harness it?
I thank you for having us on, David. You're amazing.
Welcome.
And then, so Kylie, I love Kylie. I adore Kylie, and her leadership style is matching energy for energy. She doesn't work with people who don't match her energy. It's like, I'd rather give birth than resuscitate the dead. And she's like, come on, let's go. And she's just really, she's laser focused. She's very strong. She's very independent. She's got healthy boundaries. She's really taught me about boundaries as a woman, as a mum, and as a leader. And she's got a beautiful heart, but not many people see that side of her because she's so put on a pedestal, I guess, as an amazing leader, as number one income earner. And she's got just a really compassionate heart, but she shows people how she is respected. And they're probably the biggest qualities of Kyle's that I love so much.
Yeah, and we should say that 7-figure plus a year income earner and number one income earner in an entire nation or region, continent. So kudos. Kylie, describe Emma's strengths and skills that you utilize, because here you are, number one, you've been around 8 years. Emma's been around for, 4, and yet here you are perfectly complementing each other. That's why I really was excited to have you both on the show together, because this is kind of so cool. So describe her strengths and style.
Oh, and you nearly made me cry then with that. Like, we are so close, but we really do have totally different strengths, I guess. And, I see so much light in Emma. Emma's the one that brings it all together. Emma's the one that creates the community. Emma's the one that supports and loves on people, she's the one that's always there for everybody. Like, she really, for me, Emma's just the most giving person, one of the most giving people that I've ever met. Like, she really just gives her heart and soul to everything and to every single person in her team. And, Em, you're the one that I go to for my strength. And you know that because we speak every single day. But it's like, we just have these different strengths, David. And it's, we both draw on each other, I guess. And, when Emma's needs someone to come in and help her team or to pump them up, I'm there for her. And it's sort of like it's a different level, not a different level, a different style of leadership, but it works so well together.
Yeah. And if you talk to me a little bit, Emma, on kind of styles, like when we say styles of leadership, what you referred to, which I love, is how you how you are a mom, how you are a person, because how you do leadership in your network marketing business is how you do life, really, right? But yeah. Have you found this 4.5 years, has it changed you as a mother? Has it changed you as a friend? Has it developed and opened you up for more of, just more of the juice of life?
Oh my goodness. I saw a memory come up from like over 8 years ago when I first gave birth to my first daughter, Peach. And I'm like, I was such a different person, even physically. Like, I didn't even have eyebrows. Like, I was like, I wouldn't even like look at people properly. And then through that, I kind of lost my identity as well. So, and then that's when I found the company that I aligned myself with, and I got immersed. Like, I literally people didn't tell me where to go. People didn't go watch this, go do this. I went to work and I was like, I listened to 3 or 4 podcasts a day. I was like reaching out to people that resonated with my story, because who I was before, I was leadership in a church, and now it's here, and I was really struggling with that. And I just had to, I've just changed so much, and that's come, I mean, the growing phase is like, I literally feel like, David, I'm about 6 months finishing my apprenticeship, and I'm about to go in my first year. And that's when like the moving and shaking is happening. And like last month I rank advanced 3 times personally.
Wow. That's
yeah.
like, oh, whoa. Let's just slow down. Now, anyone who's, let's say if you're listening and you're not in the profession and you're kind of digging around in here just to sort of figure out what this all is, to rank advance is a big deal. To do it once in a month is a big deal. Twice is extraordinary. 3 times is extraordinary. And what really it talks about, Emma, and Kylie, you know this to be true, is all the work you've done over the last 3 or 4 years leading up to that 1 month. It's not something you can do in 1 month. It's the months and months before where you're building and layering and you're connecting and all these things come to fruition, all of the team you're building, because it's also your team is rank advancing with you. You can rank advance 3 times if there's not a whole lot of people moving with you, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the crazy part, because they all rank advanced. They all had goals, and all I did was lay down my goals, and all I did was just immerse myself in theirs. Like I drove past the border. I was where we were in like a COVID shutdown, and you
Okay. I just want to say this. We can't mention COVID, so I'm just going to rewind. No connection to COVID. That's all. It's just because of legal. It's just a legal thing. That's right. So what we're saying is there were some constraints on travel.
And I made sure that I crossed the border, and I had someone who was really close to hitting the highest level of leadership, and I went down. Their goals became my goals. We were FaceTiming Kylie and then Robbie and Luke, and we're like, come on, let's go. And she completely rank advanced and blew her business out of the water. Then I traveled back and went and did the same to another personally enrolled. So my personally enrolled, their goals become my goals, and it filters through deep. And the biggest thing is duplication and the systems and utilizing. Honestly, it's leverage. It's leverage. Getting Kylie on a call to pump someone up. It's crazy what we can do. Strength in numbers, rowing in the same direction, and that is incredible.
Kylie, we've seen this. I've seen it with you. I mean, we're going to go back into your past. I remember when I first met you. I mean, these people see this incredibly powerful, strong, talented, kind, loving, generous woman who can be a hard ass, right? So, right. But, we know the journey, right? There's been lots of tears, lots of growth, lots of, I'm not sure I can do this, lots of probably thoughts about even walking away altogether, because working with people, what do they say about network marketing? The best thing about network marketing is the people, and the worst thing about network marketing is the people. Right? Talk to me a little bit about did you personally enroll, Emma? Are you connected financially?
No, we're connected financially, but not my personally enrolled.
Describe that to someone who's maybe watching, or maybe even someone who's new in network marketing, and they really don't understand this magical thing that happens is that Emma and you now are not only, I can see, best friends, and I'm going to use that, but close, dear, loving friends who talk to each other every single day and immerse yourselves in each other's dreams and goals, right? But you didn't know her. She pops up in your life because someone who you spoke to someone who spoke to someone who spoke to someone who spoke to someone who spoke to someone, and suddenly, boop, up she comes, right? Talk about the magic of that and why leveraged income and why, this idea of residual income and the fact that we only get paid on our ability to help others. And Emma, you described it so gorgeously, is you immerse yourself in the dreams and goals of others. So Kylie, just talk about that for the newbie.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So many of my closest friends now, David, are just people that I've met through this profession. People that I didn't know from my past, like a lot of people, my closest friends from the past, who haven't come along on the journey, which is totally okay because it's not for everybody. But it's just, they're kind of still where they are. Whereas the people that have come into my life since this started, the friendships really develop. And as Emma said, you know, this is never about yourself. Like, maybe it is in the beginning, you know, you might set your own goals of where you want to be, etc. But at the end of the day, you really, as we've already said, you can't get anywhere without helping other people. And, you know, so the more you take focus off yourself, and I always say this to people who get overwhelmed, is like, stop thinking about yourself like you're thinking about yourself at the moment. It's not about you. And the quickest way to get out of overwhelm is to actually start to concentrate on other people. Yeah. And so, you know, if I get stuck in my head or whatever, it's just like, okay, who can I help today? And I know at the beginning of my journey, it was like, when I was in the full build mode, it was, who can I help today? That's every single day I'd wake up and it's like, who can I help today? Who can I help today? Because the power of this is, you know, I'm not sure if you want numbers or anything, but since
do it. Yeah. Well, and listen, there's a disclaimer on this thing, so read it. You know, no, this is not all normal. I mean, most people come in as super part-time, blah blah, legal, right? So she's not making any claims, all right? So don't make this about her claims. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think I should be a lawyer? Was that?
I think you totally could be a lawyer, David. But no, I think the thing that I really want to get across to people is that, you know, I haven't been the biggest enroller, yet I'm still the #1 income earner within our country. And so it just shows that it's like, it's not, so personally I've enrolled about 100 maybe say 200 people. Okay. So 200 people, and that has now grown to 131,000 people. So wow. That is the power of our profession. You know,
well, and that's staggering. I look at Emma's face as you said that, and even Emma, that penny just dropped in her head. I mean, she already knows it, but I think it just landed again inside you, didn't it, Emma?
Yeah, it always does. Sometimes I went car shopping and I looked at this car, and I'm like, I rang Kylie afterwards and I laughed my head off, and I'm like, literally, I was looking at a car. You could I was looking at it and it blew my mind, the figure on there, and I'm like, you can buy it twice, like in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I'm like laughing my head off because I still forget, because she's so down to earth and grounded that kind of abundance is coming in, that she's so grounded and so level-headed that I think we forget as well.
And Kylie, you were about to mention a number. What number were you going to mention? Was that it, or was there a financial number? Because you make, can I ask what you made last year, or what you'll make this year in your profession?
It's around 1.8 to 2 million.
Yeah, 2 million.
It's my average, yeah.
I know you can't live on that, but it's a good start, right? But again, I want to remind people, this is not, I mean, Kylie says that although she hasn't recruited a huge amount of people, she had 200 conversations, or 200 people said, yes, she's had probably thousands of conversations, but you've really helped build teams, right?
I think yeah, that's exactly it. And I think that's what I was getting to, was that it's not about the number of enrollments that you have. Like, you can be a major, you guys are garbage truck, sorry guys. That's all right, don't worry.
I just had my builders walk through the living room yakking. I was like, can you see I'm working over here?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's not about that. For me, it's not about the number of enrollments. Okay. So for me, it's about the depth. You really want to be building this depth, and you want to be building leaders. And to do that, that's where you need the skill sets, I guess, of how to create other leaders. And it's about leading from all different areas. So not only just leading from the front. Like, I see a lot of people who just lead from the front and get caught in, I hate to say it, but get caught in ego, don't let their people grow, etc. So it really is finding the balance.
Well, actually, it's more like they enable versus empower, right? So what you're talking about is creating the empowerment versus enablement. Yeah.
Exactly. And my journey came around, David. It wasn't that I was, mine kind of, you know me. So mine sort of came around from not wanting the limelight, not wanting to, you know, be the star attraction. So for me, it was easier, and it just was so great that it actually worked out. But it was easier for me to lead from the back and to empower other people to lead and step up and go first, because, or not go first, but step up and be, you know, move forward, because for me, that was my way of getting out of being in the limelight. So, but, you know, for me, it obviously worked because I've built some incredible leaders. I think I have 4 or 5 personally enrolled millionaires now. And another one coming this year. So it's yeah, it really is about, you know, finding where your level of leadership is and where you work best. And for me, it's leading from behind or leading from the middle and then stepping up. You know, I'm not scared to step up, or actually.
Well, I remember the last event we were
am
at.
scared
Actually,
to
the last event we were at, I remember throwing you the mic
Yeah,
and you
thanks.
stepped up, right? No, but I'm just saying, because you typically will be in the background, but when there was that moment for you to step in, and I asked you to, it was just beautiful because you just stepped in, and because the respect and the of the room, they already understand you. And so when you do step up, you stepped up with grace. And because of that, everyone was just, and it was beautiful to watch because it was enabled me to step back and disappear into the woodwork. And then suddenly, boom, you step up. And that's the beautiful dance about leadership and what's going on between you two as well, right?
And I'm very grateful for that, David. Like that day, just so everyone knows, so David just gave me 20 minutes warning, said, you're going to do the leadership meeting, 3-hour leadership meeting on your own, and walked out the door. I'm like, no way, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? And he said, you'll work it out. And you know, this is what people need to do every single day. You really need to step out of your comfort zone. It's like something like that I couldn't say no to. You know, I just had to do it. And I think that's like so many things in life. You really just have to step up, and you really just have to have that belief and have that certainty and have that courage. It really takes courage to do that.
And we're going to look into how you got there, because you weren't there immediately, but certain skills were. You know, Emma, talk about, you know, so many people, what happens is they'll have these people coming up who want to lead, and there becomes this kind of friction, which is a very normal, and anyone listening, you know, this is just very normal. I want to have conversations about things that are real, right? But you've seen it where people get this friction, yet we're watching you two having this gorgeous dance together. And you must have had people where it's kind of like this. Talk a little bit about how you've been both, well, I want to hear from both of you, how you've navigated the challenging ones, because sometimes we take it so personally, right? And we make it mean something, which obviously sometimes can slow us down. But Emma, what's been your experience with this? You know, how did you find the path to work so closely together? And when it hasn't gone well, what have you learned over the last 4 years to navigate it when somebody, you know, people talk about, bro, they want to go and do their own thing, which is exactly what we want leaders to do. But so many people struggle with them doing it, right?
Yeah, I think it's just understanding the personalities, I guess, understanding who you're working with and their goals, and understanding their personalities and what a red would be doing. And they're like so task focused, and you just give them tasks. Here's the map, let's go, just. But then the blues, they're so emotional, and you have to kind of come in, and every time you talk to them, you have to ask about how they're going first. How's the family? How's the kids? All right, where you at? Where's your IPA? What's your DMO? And actually it's not what you say, it's how you say it to a blue. It's really coming in that angle. And then a yellow is just fun and shiny objects, and you're like, hey, guess what? Do you want to come party? And then we'll talk business after. And then it's really, and then the whites, I think it's just really understanding their personalities and understanding their why. However, one of my newest executives, I suppose, wanted to lead from the front prior to starting. So when she started, she wanted to lead from the front, but now she's seen more that she wants to usher her team, and she wants to lead from the back because she doesn't want to, she knows that she can't duplicate, only a system can duplicate. So I think you spoke about it once about being a wizard, and you're just kind of going through your leadership and styles and understanding their personalities and who you're working with, because we're relationships. So, yeah. And actually the biggest thing is not taking offense. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, and understanding who you're talking to. That's the biggest thing for me in my experience as well. And don't take things personally. Like, someone could have had a bad day, something could have happened, and they're, you know, something like that. So I just don't take things personally anymore. Whereas at the start, I could have, like, they looked at me funny. Whereas now it's like, oh, didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about that, because I made a post the other day, which I tend to stay out of politics, and I tend to stay out of, you know, it's just not something that I particularly am fascinated by, so I stay out of it. But I made a post, and, you know, someone came in just hot and heavy and a lot of anger and hatred. And, you know, it's interesting because when we say don't take things personally, and you're a leader who's developed the ability not to take things personally. And one of the lines he put in there, and it's still there if you want to go read it, he said, you know, and if you want to unfriend me, and again, of course, I'm adding my own intonation here, but again, you know, it's in caps. If you want to unfriend me, that's fine. You know, I think it's really, and I was like, started right out. I said, why would I want to unfriend you? I said, you're completely entitled to your opinion and you're completely welcome here. I said, you did come across as quite angry and closed. And I said, I'm sure that, and I was kind of like really kind. And immediately within about 10 seconds, I got this reply immediately that said, I'm so sorry, man. I can see you're a really decent person. I apologize. And I said, no, but that's that idea. If I'd have confronted even a little tiny piece of him, or if I'd have just pushed him away completely, right? And I think that dance comes with experience. But Kylie, up to you now, talking a little bit about this, you know, how you've navigated it, because you've had some experiences where, you know, you felt isolated. You've had experiences where people have attacked you. You've had experiences. So you get it all, right? So how have you got to this place now? And I'm sure it's still hard some days, right?
Oh, it's still challenging. So, you know, but as you said, you know, you just grow this strength, and it's more of an inner knowing, I guess. It's more of knowing yourself. And I always say to people, you know, the day that you stop taking things personally is the most freeing day of your life. And you really see it when new people come in. You just see where they're at, and it really is a matter of meeting people where they're at. And for me, sometimes that's challenging because I'm so, you know, driven and go-getter, and, you know, I can see this is my thing, David, is that I see so much potential in people. And I know that we've always said, you know, don't fall in love with potential and all the rest of it. But I really feel that I see people, and I think that it's because of the journey that I've been on personally. You know, like I wasn't this, I probably had some traits, but I wasn't this person that stood in my power 7 years ago. You know, I've actually got this video of myself 7 years ago of my first 30 days, because I thought I'm going to prove this system wrong and I'm going to record every single day. And so, you know, I played that recording back to myself, and I was this like really shy, quiet person. And, you know, so I guess it's really meeting people where they're at, and that energy is everything. And so, you know, you're meeting people's energy, and sometimes your energies just won't align, and that's okay, you know. So, you know, if there's people who come in and, like you said, want to run their own race, I let them run their own race, because I know they'll come to a blockage. If they're strong enough or whatever, they'll overcome it themselves, or they'll come back for advice. So, you know, you just have to really meet people where they're at, and support, like you said, like just always be kind and support, and help as much as you can.
Yeah.
Give advice. And you can't, I guess you can't really give that advice until you've been on the journey, and that's one of the things that I've really learned.
Well, there's that the great saying, right? Experience is something you get just after you need it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so true. So true.
Emma, 4 years, you know, Kylie's been around 8 years. You can see, you know, what she's been able to create. You're obviously totally in alignment, yet you have completely different styles, but you've really learned how to dance with each other's styles and actually utilize. And like you said, you know, you don't have that hard ass style, but when you need it, you kind of leverage Kylie. Talk to me about what was the hardest thing starting out on this journey? What's been the toughest thing for you to kind of learn and navigate? Because so many people want the dream, and, you know, often get stuck. And often it's not stuck behind a lot of things. It's often stuck behind one or two things, right?
Yeah. Oh man, it's a loaded question, David. But I would say probably just two key things I've learned is, one is consistency, is just being consistent and being congruent with your words. Like if you write a goal down, you don't sleep in, you don't press snooze, you get up and you actually serve people, and you actually tell your story one more time, you follow up again, you pour love, you utilize the tools, you get on the calls, you plug in. If you're not plugging in, you go flat. And I just think that consistency of letting your actions meet your goals and marry that together, that's the biggest thing for me. Because honestly, I could tell so many stories if I could have stopped. Like I could have stopped so many times. But I stayed consistent, I stayed true, and I knew I aligned myself, and my highest value is integrity. And I'm so true to my word. And being a mum, I'm an independent mum. I look at my girls and I'm like, mummy has to chase her dreams, because when I look them in the eyes and they want to do something, they know that mummy chased her dreams. So I have to stay so true to that. So consistency with my goals. And then the second one would be dive in 2 feet in. Don't dabble. Don't just put your toe in and be like, oh yeah, that's okay. Literally make a commitment, but then plug in and learn. I still listen to 3 or 4 podcasts a day. My girls don't know the hottest 100 music. They know that they're driving with a library of hearing like the greatest leaders of all time. And it's just staying committed. It's just staying committed to your goals and staying true to your word. And shiny objects come and go. Boyfriends will come and go. Engagements will come and go, but it's just don't get distracted. So consistency and don't get distracted and staying true to that. So that's probably the biggest thing in my, and don't take things personally. Like that's the biggest thing in my apprenticeship, David.
That's going to be a big theme here. What about you, Kylie? What's been one of the big struggles for you, or the challenges or things you've had to overcome?
Myself has been the biggest challenge. So I guess it's limiting beliefs. I've got, for me personally, David, I've got this belief in myself that I know that if I put my mind to something that I can do it. It doesn't matter. I know that there's, if I'm ever financially struggling, I know that I'll always be able to make money. But when it comes to actually doing it, it takes, like I said before, it takes so much courage. And for me, that's what I struggle with. I struggle to find that courage. But when push comes to shove and I'm right on that edge, I always find it. And so, I guess it's limiting beliefs. That's always sort of, I've struggled with. It's also in the beginning, it was definitely, taking things personally for me. And because I've got such a big heart and I just want people to succeed, and I can come across as a hard ass. But that's the thing. It's like, I personally feel like I'm just trying to get to people's true self, because I feel like I show up as my true self all the time, and I just want to find other people and I want them to see their true self. And so, if I cop resistance with that, it really does affect me. So yeah, that was sort of my challenging things. I guess other challenging things, David, is that I didn't come from a wealthy background. I single mum. I'm a single mum still. And so, but my mum was a hard worker, and I think that was, the thing. My mum was a hard worker. I'm so grateful I got that off her. And it's finding that strength within is what we need to do.
And I want to look at that, because I think that, Emma, if I come back to you for a second with the what you were doing before network marketing, what was give us a little look into your past.
So I was a head stylist and a makeup artist in Melbourne. We moved down to Melbourne and then moved back to where we kind of grew up, and we became youth pastors there, and we were in the church there, so we were pastors. And then I became a single mum when my second was born. Like, Lux was only 6 months old, and I had to rebuild my life. And what I did was, if I had to, like, it pretty much, like, I moved my whole life to be closer with my sister on the Gold Coast, and that's where about a year into it, I was opened up to this, and only for the products, and I fell in love. But I was drowning. Like, I was so tired. I was putting on such a brave face. I literally, I was wearing a mask because I was in leadership in the church, and I was so betrayed and embarrassed of what happened. And I had to really work on myself. So with what Kylie was saying was, I really had to look internally and know that I was worthy and it wasn't my fault, and I had to work on myself. And then it just was this but I mean, I was tired. I was so tired, David, before this, and I was broken, and if it wasn't for my kids, I don't know where I'd be and what I'd be doing. And yeah, I'm so grateful that I actually, took heart and actually was open to something amazing. And you know what? I don't have a degree or a HSC or anything like that. And it's crazy that I out-earned my sister, who's a physio, who had to go to uni for 7 years. And I'm like, hi. And I'm like, but so humbly though, because I'm so grateful. And I just don't know what industry I could have done as a broken single mom and like going back to work. You know what I mean? So I could work from home and build a team and love on people and meet my bestest friends and come to Tasmania and meet you, David, and just like feel so aligned with where I'm going in the future. And I suppose people see the glory now, but they don't know the story. And I tell you what, that story was so hard, but I had to choose my hard, like showing my girls that they can chase their dreams. It's crazy. So yeah, my life was pretty
I got goosebumps then, choose your heart. I mean, because you got goosebumps too? You feel it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. The choosing hard, I mean, hard is going to a job every day you dislike. Hard is, there's so many versions of hard. And yeah, this is network marketing, so it is work. But Kylie, coming back to you, just give us a little brief look into life before network marketing. What was life like? What were you doing?
Life for me was Groundhog Day, David. It was, I was a stay-at-home mum to Charlie and Ryder. I had 2 online businesses, so I was selling children's clothes online and restoring furniture. And I was passionate about it. I loved it, but that was sort of all I was doing. And it was same thing every single day, wake up and, go out, do my workout. I'm into health and fitness, obviously. And it was just Groundhog Day. And I was so bored and dying within myself. I really was just stuck. And I didn't come into this profession for anything other than the products. I had no idea what network marketing was, and I came in for the products. I had an incredible result. And then when my world fell apart, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. It was, so quick story, I lost $110,000. I bought into a gym and my business partners kicked me out 6 months later. And because of, our profession. And basically my world fell apart. I lost my income. I had the business loan, and we were about to lose our house. And so that's what kicked me into, it was sort of out of desperation that I had to look at this profession more seriously. And, the people who had enrolled me were earning quite a substantial amount of money. And I'm like, at that time, I'm like, I need to earn that sort of money to get myself out of what I'd put my family into. And so then, I started doing what I needed to do. I started learning the skills. I started connecting with people. I started just basically getting into action and working really, really, really hard. And it then sort of snowballed. So, so going back to your question, before all of this, I was basically Groundhog Day. And, this whole profession, I've said it so many times, yes, I earn incredible money. I am so grateful and I earn an incredible income. But the thing that I've got most out of this is the personal development and the friendships. And, they both mean so much more to me than any amount of money ever can.
Yeah, that's so good. Let's think about the new mind listening. Or the mind where the dabblers. A lot of you right now, you kind of want it and you kind of half a foot in. Emma talked about, having both feet in and the importance of that. Some of you are treating this like a very, very part-time kind of like, tiptoeing in, but still wanting the results. You listen to these stories and you're inspired by them because you want them. You want that freedom. You want these friendships. You want to be able to build something where you're helping people. Contribution is such a huge part of the human psyche of how we feel each day when we're able to contribute to lives. It just sort of, there's something else going on. But I wonder, if you could each take a turn to describe what is network marketing and how important is it to find the right home? Because, but Emma, let's go with you because, you've been around it. Was this your first role at network marketing?
I didn't even know what network marketing was.
That's probably good.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like really reluctant to even look. So I didn't even know what it was.
So to describe it to someone listening here, like, especially again, remember someone who may be even actually in your company right now, who's in, but they're not in. They're kind of in. They're using the products and they consider themselves in, but they're not really in yet because they haven't crossed a threshold in their mind about the beauty and the power of A, network marketing, and then B, having the right home.
Oh my goodness. I honestly, I just wish people would be so like more open to it because people always reach out to me prior to even starting this, even when I was broken. What are you wearing? What shoes have you got on? What lipstick are you wearing? Hey, Emma, what shampoo do you use? Where's your hairdresser? And I would actually be telling all these people. And then I went, oh, that's what network marketing is. What? And I was like, what marketing actually is. And then I wasn't open to it. So I wasn't open to it at all. And then I went to an event. Someone just said, look, you love the products. You've had amazing results. David, I was lying to people in my first 30 days of my transformation because I was so closed to actually network marketing because I just wasn't educated in it. So I just went and I was open to it because I fell in love. So I went and I was open to it and I was like, oh my gosh, everyone else went to lunch. I sat on the ground and that became that first level of leadership. And I was not stopping. And then I got it and I just immersed myself in it. And if you really understand the power of it, you wouldn't sleep. If you understand the power of it, you wouldn't sleep. And I've never been open to any other home. But what I want to know is the foundation. So do some research. Do some research if you're looking for a home and check the foundations and check if they're deep and they're not going to move. And I'm telling you, just do some research on whatever your home will be. Do some research because honestly,
it's so classy. It's so classy of you to not just tout your own company. And even though we're both in love with the same company, or three of us are, I love the class. It made me emotional thinking about that because we love the profession, and we understand that this isn't the home for everybody. But as far as we're concerned, as far as I'm concerned, most companies on the planet today, and I would say that, the home you have, and I can tell by look at the leadership style you both share, is extraordinary. It's an extraordinary home because I suppose the word legacy comes into play here because, you're building something, and anyone who doesn't understand the network marketing aspect of being able to will your position onto your children, you're building a willable asset. And that's the other thing that we don't often consider. And, think about that residual aspect of the income is willable to your children and your grandchildren. So it's actually mind-boggling if we really sit down and we sort of hold up network marketing against a conventional business or a job. It's mind-blowing, right?
Mm. For me, David, like it hits home that so many people can succeed within this profession. So many people can succeed that don't, speaking of myself, and same with Emma, we went to year 10 in school. I couldn't wait to get out of school. I hated school. It was like I was a rebel at school. It was, my mum said to me, if you can get a job, you can go and leave school. So that day I wagged school and I went and got 2 jobs. And so, that's just sort of how I've been. And I think this is the most forgiving profession. It's the most forgiving profession because it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter your wealth. It doesn't matter anything. You can, if you make the decision to succeed, you can succeed in this profession. Yeah. And I think also, you need to align yourself with a company, which I am just so grateful for our company. the products, the compensation plan, everything, the leadership, it comes from the top. And, the owners of our company are the most down-to-earth people that I've probably ever met. And, when you have that one-on-one relationship with them, seriously, how many companies do you have a one-on-one relationship with the CEO of the company?
Right.
It's and they personally call you. They'll personally call you.
Yeah.
And and they're always pouring that belief into you. And I think that's the thing, that's the thing with our profession, is that you want to get around people who are really going to, believe in you and breathe that belief in you. And I always say to people, because I see potential in people, it's like, take my belief in you until you find it within yourself. And I guess that's why I'm so passionate about our company and our profession, because they've done that for me. And I mean, with yourself, David, you were the one that saved me, to be honest, because I went to one of your events and was walking out the door and you called me back in. So I was leaving and you called me back in. So thank you, David.
You're welcome. Sometimes I have to be the hard ass around other hard asses.
Exactly.
Kylie, we're going to go a little bit longer than I anticipated. So hang in there, guys. The how-to, the personal development you talked about, and I think you've kind of touched on it, but your journey, your personal journey, I always say my wealth can only grow to the extent I grow myself. Your wealth can only grow to the extent you've grown yourself. Someone who's making close to $2 million a year has done a lot of personal growth and still is challenged. But, what's been some of the personal, interior kind of changes that have occurred in the last 8 years in the journey called network marketing? And if we take you back to, Groundhog Day, your previous life, where if you continue doing that, and continue showing up the way you were, you would still be in exactly the same mindset, earning exactly the same amount of money, feeling the same frustration as you would have. And here you are, gone into and this is a hard profession. I love to say that. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. But talk a little bit about this internal journey. What's been, if I took away all the money and you said the money doesn't matter, and actually, just let me ask the question. What's been your total collective income that you've made in these last 8 years?
Over $10 million.
Yeah. I mean, crazy. And what were you doing again before?
Stay-at-home mom.
Right? I mean, wait. Right?
Exactly.
But talk a little bit about that journey, because I mean, I've seen you and I know there's been some hard days, not with what's going on the outside, just with you facing the inside and wanting to discover that greater, most authentic part of yourself, right?
Yeah. David, it's still a journey every single day. There's days, I just push myself. I really have to personally push myself. Everyone sees me as this strong person, as this, this, I don't know what people really see me as, to be honest, but I know within myself who I am. And it's an eternal journey. I truly believe that growth is just an eternal journey. And it's something that I now get excited about. It was never something that excited me, but I always knew it was something that I had to do, because as you said, if I hadn't have grown, I would have still been in that situation. And it's really it really means taking accountability of yourself. It means taking accountability of where you're at. And it's having that awareness of where you are and where you want to be and what you need to do to get there. And like I said, it's just, as Emma said, I'm listening to podcasts still every single day. At the moment it's Tony Robbins. So I'm filling my mind every day I get up, and it's putting into practice a routine as well. And I know so many people say that, so many good leaders say that it's about putting in a routine, but it really is. For me, it's like I get up, I exercise, and then so I'll do a training session 3 days a week. I only train 3 days a week. And then I'll go for a walk. And on that walk, I'm filling my mind with, positive things. And I think that's the thing, is to always look at the positive side rather than getting stuck in that poor me. And, I even catch myself, I get stuck in my poor me stories all the time. But it's easier and it's a lot quicker for me to get out of those now, because I know that if I make a decision to change it, I can change it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the exciting thing. And, you know, it's like, what can I do next? Like, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Yeah, because that old brain is still there. I mean, what's happening in your mind will continue to do its thing. But as you grow and expand and you start to reprogram,
Less and less.
yeah, it gets quieter, but it's still there. It's still, and so, and your ability to handle it and deal with it and get through it, it's like, where maybe it took you a month before, maybe it can take you a few minutes, all right? We're going to call it, really come to the end here, but before we do, I just want to ask you, Emma, there are women, I mean, a lot of women are watching this, a higher percentage than men, about 85%. And they'll look at both of you and they can see how beautiful you are and your confidence. And they can see that even before this, you were saying people were asking you questions about your hair and your makeup and, where you went to shop and da-da-da-da-da. But they may be in a body or in a mind that doesn't have that confidence. They don't look into the mirror and see that. What advice would you give somebody, again, who's just starting out on their personal development journey, and maybe the noise in their head is so freaking loud in the contrary of their dreams? It's them talking themselves out of it. It's them beating the shit out of it themselves, all of that, right? What advice, just to round this show up, and, I'm looking forward to doing future shows with you, but what advice would you give to that new person listening?
The biggest thing is stay in your lane, and do not compare yourself to someone's middle or someone's end or someone's, start. Do not compare. And I just think you have to work on here, what Kylie said, like, you have to work here and that's here, and knowing the two and getting around people that are going to kick your ass. Like I wish to God, I prayed, I wish there was someone when I was in a season of my self-pity party, Debbie Downer, and having a streamer party. No offense to anyone called Debbie, it's just a thing. And I wish there was someone like Kylie that got me and went, pull your big girl pants up. You've got two little girls watching you. Get on with it. So, and I just think, I don't take offense anymore. Like people take offense. How dare you talk to me like that? Be open. Get a mentor. Get around someone who's going to kick your ass. Because if you're not kicking your own ass, you're not going to get anywhere. And just get around someone who believes in you. And whether your journey at the start, I think back to me, and if someone actually talked to me about a compensation plan, I would tell them to go jump. And that's the crazy part. If you look at me and see my growth, I used to lead with the product. Now I lead with the comp plan. Comp plan is one of my favorite products within our company. And I was not open to it. I lied about my first 30 days. So just look at that. But I never compared. I never looked sideways. There were times when I did, but then Kylie would rip me back into shape. So get around people that believe in you. Ask someone, whoever's exposed you to this beautiful profession, ask them to keep you accountable, and you ring them every day. Don't wait for them to ring you. You be the one active. I don't wait for Kylie to ring me. Corporate Australia, I'm like, oh, it's you again. I ring every 10 minutes until they answer. If I need a question, sorry, I was in a meeting. That's okay. I'm just going to keep ringing. They know me as the pest. So you just take ownership. And
Kylie, you bred a monster.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's Emma again. But really, honestly, be that person. Be that person. If you want change, be that person. That's 2 feet in. Show up.
Awesome. And Kylie, you want to round this one up for us?
It's just, I can't say much more on what Emma said, but it's really show up for yourself, show up for your people, show up for your team, show up for your family, show up for your friends. It's just about showing up. It's stepping up. It's really taking control of your life, because this isn't anybody else's life. It's working out what you actually want. Like I know with certainty, I've got that posture. I know what I want. I know what I won't put up with. I know, it's having that clarity. And I think so many people go through life not knowing exactly what they want. And I think once you find that, and you find that within yourself, and you have that solid belief, I really feel that is what will get you on track.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, everyone listening up, this is called My Extra Mile. It's about those small incremental steps. It's even that 1% rule, that 1% more each day, whether you're listening to a podcast and expanding your mind that 1%, or taking action that will sort of expand your activities by 1%. But it's just those little tiny steps that we continue to take on a consistent basis that takes us to where we want to go. So thank you for being here, ladies. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely see you all on the other side.